Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Step Chat here in the Floativerse. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure yet of meeting, my name is Stephen Jones. I am the executive director of Float, of Aloft, of Fulcrum, and a couple other things, which I'm branding both brands tonight as I realize how scruffy my head looks. So, hi, good to see you all, and welcome, and thank you for being here. Tonight is going to be a little less warm and fuzzy because we have a lot of stuff we have to cover and not a lot of time to do it in because I do not want to keep you all here till the wee hours of the morning with our competition stuff. The game plan tonight is pretty simple. We're going to spend about the first 30 minutes doing our normal Step Chat episode, and then we're going to get into the competition stuff. I do apologize sincerely for not being able to honor the Thursday night show that I originally intended to. Basically, an incident occurred on Wednesday that required a lot of my attention for most of the day. And as a result, unfortunately, everything that day got screwed up, including all my prep for this competition information. So as a result, I just said, I don't want to half-ass it. I want to do it right. So let's just wait and do it at the right time. So, hi everybody. It's good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. I see you all saying hi in the chat, and I love you all. And but tonight I got to keep it moving. So with that being said, allow me to share my screen. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I do that, it just occurred to me that we were doing something prior to the show. There we go. And I wasn't ready. So let's try this again here. So let's get to where I can share the screen. And of course, now is the moment that Murphy decides he wants to destroy his chew toy. So there we go. Okay. And there we are. And bear with me for just a moment. Now, keep in mind, of course, I can still see all your comments on my Facebook feed. So there you go. I hope I don't freeze up again, but if I do, we'll figure it out from there. Okay. And there we have it. So, folks, I do want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to episode 290 of Step Chat here at the Floatress of Solitude. So thank you very much for being here. First of all, we're going to breeze through this. This is our Aloft section. This is our 24/7 streaming service that Float offers to our members. I do want to remind all of you that our next class is coming up a week from this Tuesday with Mr. Carl Woody, our own Carl Woody from Float, Team Building Through Twisting. Carl has developed an entire repertoire of doing corporate team building events by teaching them twisting techniques. He does them both in person and online. And this month, we are privileged enough to have him teach us how he does it. The virtual class is taking place on Tuesday, November 18th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. If you want to join us, if you're an Aloft member, do nothing. You'll get your invitation on Monday the 17th. If you're not an Aloft member, you will have the ability. You can either join Aloft. It's a great deal, honestly. 6 months at $80 of access, $80 for 6 months of access, or $120 for an entire year. That gets you access to all of our entire library. That gets you access to the live class, and it gets you benefits at Float if you're registered for the convention. Otherwise, if not, you can sign up for just $25 at the Orange Store, which is floatconvention.com/orange store. Keep in mind that link is not yet on the Orange Store. It should be there tomorrow. So thank you all for that. And thank you, Carl, for sharing your wisdom with us. Dear God, it feels like I just started posting these things. We are already almost 25% through our countdown. Dear God in heaven, it is 77 days until opening night at Float 2026. I am starting to lose sleep. I am starting to now wake up in the middle of the night in panics. So yes, it is definitely, we are there. So here we go. I do want to remind all of you that if you have not yet registered for the convention, we do have a promotion going this month. All of our vendors and sponsors coming to Float have a coupon code. If you live in the continental United States and you have not yet registered for Float, the current registration price is $7.95, but you can get $75 off that price by using your favorite sponsor or vendor's coupon code. So if you know that they're participating in Float, reach out to them, say, hey, what's your coupon? Because we are keeping track. The company that gets the most people signed up will receive a free booth in 2028. So keep in mind, that's something that you guys can do to help your favorite vendor or sponsor, manufacturer, retailer, whatever you want to do. If they're involved in the program, you can support them. That's one way you can do it. So we'd love to have you. Now, keep in mind, that coupon code only applies to the U.S. domestic rate. It does not apply to international rate. It doesn't apply to the foundation program. It doesn't apply to the Jam Pass. It doesn't apply to the Weekend Pass because all four of those that I just mentioned are already deeply discounted. So there's that. I do need to remind all of you that if you have not yet registered for Float and you want to get your guaranteed tote bag and free t-shirt at the event, You must register by December 1st. This is a new policy at Float this year. This is a brand new policy in an effort to make sure that our sponsors know how many pieces they need for the tote bags, and in an effort to make sure that our t-shirt company doesn't scream and yell at me again for getting numbers to them too late. We have to make sure that we get this information to our people on time. This means that if you have not registered for Float on or before December 1st, there is no guarantee that you will receive a t-shirt or tote bag. Okay? If you sign up before then, you will. If you sign up after, it is a crapshoot. And please do not complain to me if you miss out. I need to remind everybody once again, if you've not already done this, please send your headshots to steve@floatconvention.com. We need them for your badges. I have sat now for 3 days and received 3 headshots. I can't get badges moving on this. I really need more headshots from you guys. So please do me a favor, send me your headshots so that I can get your badge made. Remember, we are adding headshots to the badges this year for a security protocol. And in return for that, we are also making up a meme for you and sending it over to your attention. So please, I ask, please, if you haven't already done this, please take a minute, send me an email at steve@floatconvention.com and send me your headshots. I'm sure you look gorgeous. Just please remember, do not obstruct your face. No sunglasses, no clever hair down over the side, no hats, no AI enhancement. Please, no Snapchat filters. Just send me a picture, even if it's just a selfie of you in the car. Even if it's just a selfie of you in the car, that works great. Okay. Now, as I mentioned last week, we had one instructor situation last week that we talked about where Amanda Mahoney is no longer coming to Float and instead is being replaced by Alessandro Patagne and Greg Aragoni on behalf of our friends at Anagram. Wouldn't say I'm thrilled about it, but I now have the ability to share with you that there are now 2 other faculty members that are being swapped out at the convention. The first of which is our friend Lily Jimenez, who now, due to circumstances beyond her control, is no longer going to be able to attend Float. Lily was scheduled to teach the Intro to Social Media class at the convention. And so with that being said, I am thrilled to share with you that there was only one, the person I immediately thought of after Lily said no, thank God she said yes. Linda Lopez, Balloonito, out of PS Helium and Balloons, is going to be joining us. She was already coming to Float on behalf of PS Helium, and now she's going to fill in as our instructor for the Intro to Social Media class. If you've ever followed PS Helium's feed, you know that Linda Lopez, hello party people, she does a great job with their account. And so she's going to be sharing some of her tips and tricks with you in the Intro to Social Media class. So thank you, Linda, for stepping in and filling in for us at the last minute. And then we have another situation to address. Due to circumstances beyond our control, Oswaldo Dorado is no longer going to be teaching at Float on behalf of Globus Payaso. Long story, not going into it. With that being said, Globus Payaso wanted to select another instructor. And I'm thrilled to share with you who the instructor is, because this was someone that applied to teach and was literally on the wish list of not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different sponsors. And it was just that whole thing of, oh, if only. Well, Globus Payaso came on board and said, you know what? Given our situation, we want her. Folks, I am thrilled to share with you that the replacement instructor for Oswaldo at Float is going to be Devorah Schneerson out of Brooklyn, New York. Now, some of you might be wondering, isn't Devorah already a bonus class instructor? Yes, she is. So what's going to happen now is that obviously that bonus session has been canceled because her bonus class is now one of her general class offerings at Float. So if you did enroll in Devorah's bonus class, we are going to offer you either a full refund of that class, or you can switch into a different class, whatever you'd like to do. But we want to give a big shout out and a big congratulations to Devora. Like I said, if there's anybody on the list that didn't make it, this was one that I'm very, very happy to see did make it, because again, 4 different manufacturers and sponsors wanted to bring her on. And it was just, one thing after, it just didn't work out, didn't work. I'm so glad that it worked. Devora, thank you very much for sticking with it. We're so glad that you're going to be now teaching at Float. I do need to remind each and every one of you that flotation passes are up for sale, and they will be closing on December 15th. You have until December 15th to purchase your flotation pass. As was recommended for those of you that are now registering for the convention for the first time, the flotation pass has been added as an upgrade option when you register. So for those, now it's not discounted, it's the same price, it's $8.95. But for those of you that are signing up for Float, you can now actually go ahead and opt in when you register. You can just do it all at one time if you want to. So we're very happy about that. So again, remember, I'm not going to go into a lot of the details tonight. We're going to spend some more time next week talking about the flotation pass and what's all involved, because like I said, we have a lot of information to get through tonight. I want to take this opportunity to also share with you that we have not 1, but 2 new companies joining us in the vendor showcase. Very excited about this. One of them is a brand new vendor in the showcase, and the other one is a long returning vendor that we haven't seen for a long time. Since we haven't seen them at Float since Ohio. If that tells you anything, it's been a long time. Folks, let's give a big welcome back to our friends at Zephyr Solutions. Zephyr Solutions deals in national helium accounts as well as inflation equipment. And we are thrilled to have them joining us at Float in 2026. Again, I don't think Zephyr has actually been at Float since 2010. So we are thrilled that they've decided to come back and join us again. This is the one that was up in the air, and they weren't sure if they were going to have staff that could make it or not. So very happy that our friends at Zephyr are coming. And sitting right next to them in the vendor showcase is our friends from Yo Couture by Mara Vasquez. So folks, many of you already know that Mara Vasquez, who was, by the way, one of our fabulous Aloft instructors, there's a whole dressmaking video, or like the whole organic dress thing on our Aloft program, taught by Mara. Mara isn't going to be able to come to Float herself, but she wanted to sponsor a dress in the fashion show. So she's got a dress in the fashion show. And then on top of that, she thought, you know what? I think it would be really cool if we got a booth and show people throughout the entire time people could enroll in the school and learn about dressmaking and all the other stuff. So Mara has sponsored a booth in the show as well. So a big round of applause to Zephyr and a big round of applause to Yo Couture by Mara Balloons. Very happy to have them joining us as vendors at Float. And remember, there are still plenty of booth spaces open. So if you're watching this video and you're a potential sponsor, you've got a service you want to sell or a product you'd like to sell to get in front of the biggest audience in the world, we would love to have you join us. Reach out to me and let me know. Speaking of balloon fashion, let's talk about those fashionistas that are coming to Float in 20. These are the confirmed designers so far. Well, again, speaking of Yo Couture, let's give it up to Jacqueline Hernandez, who's going to be joining us again on behalf of our friends at Yo Couture by Mara Vasquez. Very excited to see the dress that she's going to come up with. We also want to welcome Juana Jimenez from Elegant Event and Services out of Illinois. She is going to be representing Megashine and Novedades Pema during the fashion show. Their work is exquisite. And Araceli Rodriguez from Brownsville, Texas will be representing High Float in the fashion show. Not to be outdone, many of you remember that we had a surprise fashion show back in, I think it was 2017. And at that time, everybody was stunned by the fabulous body painting of Brooke Rogers. Brooke is going to be joining us once again and is going to be doing not 1, but 2 different models during the show with her amazing talent. So we're very excited to have Brooke joining us once again. I do want to remind each and every one of you that there are still positions open in the fashion show, whether they are sponsored or not. There are some sponsors that have fashion show spots still open. that they haven't selected anyone. So if you're interested in being in it and you were looking for someone to bring you on board, let me know and I can try to connect you. Other than that, you can also volunteer to be in the fashion show. You do not have to be formally sponsored. You can volunteer to be in the fashion show. The only difference is we are only providing dress forms for those individuals that are sponsored in the show. If you self-sponsor, you do need to bring your own dress form. That's the only thing. We are very excited about that. And we've had a couple people reach out to be in the show. Looking forward to that. So remember, if you'd like to be in the fashion show, you're welcome to join us. That'll be taking place on Sunday, January 25th, as part of opening night. And I do want to remind all of our sponsors and all of our potential sponsors out there that Float has sponsorships available still. I will say we are starting to run out of time. Some of the sponsorships are up against deadlines, and some of these sponsorships are going to be going away. Some of these opportunities are going to be gone if they don't get scooped up. And yeah, so with that being said, and keep in mind, and we'll talk about this a little later on in the show, there are certain aspects of the event that will be simply canceled in the event that there's no sponsorship for it. So it just doesn't make sense to have a function or an event without balloons in it, right? So with that being said, we are going to move from there. At this point, we get to our street level content tonight. We don't have a tremendous amount of street level content to talk about. Because I knew that tonight was going to be a very, very, very big show, I didn't do a survey today. I am sorry for those of you that are upset about that. A couple of you did reach out. It's like, hey, where's the survey? I do apologize. Like I said, we had a lot to do tonight, and I didn't know how long it was going to take me to get through all this. So I decided to opt out and not do it this week. But I promise you we'll have a survey for you next week. I do want to remind each and every one of you that Float is on YouTube at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. Episodes 288 and 289 of Step Chat were uploaded earlier today. I do apologize. I know that should have been done long before now, but I got what I got. The time right now is of the essence for me. So there's that. This episode will be uploaded probably Tuesday because I know what tomorrow looks like. So there's that. So, and also, if you are active on YouTube, we do ask that you subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out. It helps if you like our videos and that kind of thing. And keep in mind, Facebook no longer keeps these live videos past 30 days. So after 30 days, these videos are gone. So the only way that you can watch these past episodes is to go out onto the YouTube channel and watch them there. So there you go. And we hope that you will start to support that. And we got more stuff coming down the road, but there's that. Okay. This is where I wanted to leave a little room for myself. I need to have a conversation with everybody about the Float Network. And I was originally going to be very, very corporate-y vague. And then I realized half of you watching this probably already know what's going on if you're on TikTok. So instead of being all corporate-y CEO stuff, I wouldn't be integral at this point if I didn't have this conversation. So, as many of you know, the Float Network began during COVID. Everybody was sitting around, we were bored, nothing was going on, none of us were working. And so out of Step Chat, because Step Chat started literally 6 weeks before COVID hit, and then it became Tuesdays with Tony, which eventually morphed into Kicking Back with Lisa Mack. It then, from Tuesdays with Tony, spawned TMI with Teresa Harding. Then we came up with the idea of a show like The View called Working Wonders. Our friend Pia Guadalupe expanded it into the Hispanic market with La Familia Float. And things were going good. But one of the issues that we deal with things like the network and other situations is that a lot of times I have to address issues that occur live or in real time. Sometimes it's playfully annoying. Sometimes it's one of our hosts going out and intentionally trying to activate everyone's home Amazonian equipment, right? I'm sure some of you remember that evening. By the way, I am not seeing any comments in my feed at all. I have not seen a single comment since like 2 minutes into the show. So I may have to wipe out and come back on again. Sometimes it's innocent. Sometimes it's comments that are made like jokes. I've had issues with network talent. I shouldn't say an issue. It's not really an issue. I've had moments with network talent where they've made a joke. I've had instances with teachers where they make a joke, or I've had an issue with a fulcrum panelist who made a joke. And I know exactly how they intended the joke, but I know that other people didn't interpret it that way. And then I'm bombarded by people demanding those people's heads or whatever. I have had a staff member at Float actually confront a sponsor, like literally go up to a sponsor, and he told him everything he ever disliked about the company, and not in a laughy, jokey way. And then I had to spend a couple weeks digging out of that. And every once in a while, you get a situation where someone on a live call says something that should not have been said. It's happened a couple times now where one of the on-air hosts said something that intentionally was trying to stab at somebody, jab at somebody, poke at somebody, whatever. Again, not the first time. In many cases, it gets to a point where, okay, now we all have to sit down and talk about it or whatever. But this time it escalated to the point to where people started trolling the live feed. And I ain't got enough time for this. I don't. Float is in 77 days, and I have a lot of stuff to address. And so as a result, I made the conscious decision to end pretty much all of the live content that is produced by the Float Network. So from this point forward, Kicking Back with Lisa Mack, The Working Wonders, and La Familia Float are on permanent suspension, or indefinite suspension, I guess is the question to put it. Teresa really hasn't been doing TMI anyway. I don't even know that she was going to, I haven't even talked to her about a Christmas Eve episode this time, so I'm not sure about that. The only live feed that will be happening is this one, is Step Chat, because if somebody's going to yell at me for something I said, at least they're yelling at me for something I said. What was supposed to be fun and what was supposed to be something that we all did because we enjoyed it has become not. And that's it. And like I said, I just feel like it has reached a point where it's just no longer fun. Now, this is not to say that Float is not going to have content programming in the future. This is not to say that some of these shows may not be back one day. But they'll definitely be coming back in other forms. So I hope that you all understand and appreciate the situation that I'm in. And yeah, so there's that. I am trying to, oh my God, there we go. Okay. Yeah. I have no comments anywhere. Okay. I don't. Okay. So you guys, all right. So let me, well, hold on one second. So with that being said, that does it for the regular episode of Step Chat tonight. So there was that. Okay. So for now, let me do it. Take a moment here. Okay. I can now see the questions. See, I couldn't see any of this content before. So I had no idea. All I could see is who was on the call. I could not see any feedback from anybody. So hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Thank you all very much. Okay. So the only question so far has been from Carolyn Brown, which looks like, and I can only assume this is about, I can only assume that this is about the flotation pass. The question is, let's highlight it here. So if you already paid, do you still need to register separately? So yes, you were sent an email. If you've already registered for Float, you were sent an email on November 3rd. There is a direct link in that email for you to sign up for the flotation pass, as well as for master classes or bonus classes, whatever you want to do. So there's that. So yeah, there we go. That's the only question that I see here so far. So, okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you all very much. Really appreciate your time. And we will see you all next time around. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing what you all come up with in our competition series. In the meantime, go out there and kick some butt. Talk to you later.